I just do me, but they say I'm too much. Chosen one, I don't ever give two fucks. Woo. And my mama said I'm special. If I don't trust you, shoot your metro. Future looking bright, nigga, got that glow. Professor X, nigga, all the gifts I show. My life like a movie shot off the hit show. Me and blessed hands make a bitch get low. James Willis, DJ CEO. Dave hit record, now we on beast mode. Let's go.
All right, welcome back to the Hit Show podcast. I got a special guest. Listen, tonight, Jaquan Guilford came back to talk with us. Okay, he's off camera, but you see him when we talk about mental health, and he also sang on the show. And me and him was talking off camera about this whole toxic masculinity thing. And I had to bring him on it. I know I've been talking about it since Sunday, but I like to get different men's perspectives, okay? So if you're watching right now, share this video. Share with your friends and family. Invite people to watch it. Comment. Feel free to leave comments. We're not going to be on here long tonight, but feel free to leave comments. And remember, Sunday, we're going to talk about toxic masculinity in rap music. That's going to be Sunday's subject. Okay, so for you guys that's been watching, I appreciate everybody that's been watching and commenting since we've been doing this toxic masculinity topic. So I'm gonna read off the definition for the people that are just chiming in tonight that haven't chimed in. But toxic masculinity is defined by adherence to traditional male gender roles that consistently stigmatize and limit the emotions boys and men may comfortably express while elevating other emotions such as anger. It's marked by economic, political, and social expectations that men seek and achieve dominance. Now, that's a different definition that I read off before, but it's a good one. I think that one is better than the other one because it says it limits the emotions boys and men may comfortably express, because men and boys aren't good at expressing themselves through communication. Men and boys, we're good at expressing ourselves through violence and anger and rage. And, you know, that's how men express themselves. So that can be toxic when you don't know how to communicate whatever the issue is. And I think that's a good definition. What you think?
I think so.
So we're going to get into the toxic masculine traits. And I got to ask you, because me and him was talking about this off camera. The biggest one that bothered me said, treating sex as a competition. I don't see nothing wrong with that. But he got a different answer. Jaquan got a different answer. I just don't see nothing wrong with that. What you think?
I definitely think that sex as a competition is very toxic.
Okay.
Our body definitely is more of a temple. So, you know, there's a lot of more men out there that we know that certainly honor their bodies more than finding it to be a competition, you know, through sex, if you will.
Okay.
How many bodies you can bag. I mean, that's what you do.
No, see, now you're trying to put me on the spot. See, I'm going to say competition as far as performance, not as far as how many.
Okay.
Because a competition doesn't always mean quantity. It could be quality and performance-wise, because if I'm trying to please a woman, right, I do have to outbeat the next man in a sexual way if I want to continue to have sex with that woman. In that aspect, to me, it is a competition because you have to outbeat the next man.
Okay.
That's the way I look at it. Now, I understand what you mean by how many bodies. And we've all had that challenge as young men, and women have too. I don't say that's toxic because, you know, men, we compete in everything. men are very competitive.
Yeah.
I don't think it's toxic though, because the sex is consensual. So how can it be toxic if it's a competition? I just don't understand that.
I mean, you're competing against somebody that was previously there, so it's definitely toxic.
You have to compete though. You can't underperform, otherwise you're not going back in there.
You absolutely shouldn't be focused on the other person. You just do what you do.
Oh no,
like competition. Because if you're saying toxic masculinity, and you're saying the competition, treating sex as a competition, to me, there's some suppressed emotions behind it because you're competing against, this other guy in the room with the girl.
Not in the room. No, I'm not saying he's not in the room.
You get what I'm saying, but you're competing against somebody that doesn't even exist, doesn't even matter. You know what I mean? Like, she's with you,
and she's with you at that time.
Yeah.
If you want to go back, you better outperform the last guy that was there. You better outperform.
Just in the sex, though? You think that's just in the sex that you need to compete?
No, I mean every aspect, but that's what they're saying.
Yeah.
They're saying that as far as men dealing with women sexually, it's toxic. You treating sex as a competition, but it is a competition. Even with women, with us, it's a competition. If she's not as good as the other one, I'm not. It's a competition.
Yeah,
that's just my personal opinion, and I feel like it's the truth. But let's get to the other one is feeling entitled to sex from others.
Okay.
Now that's a good one.
Example. Give an example.
I think that's better. Okay, men that feel entitled to sex from other women. Men usually feel entitled when they're providing something. It's a mutual exchange. Let's be honest. Women want resources, men want sex. For example, say a man and a woman meet and they talk, and you know how it usually goes. She tell you, well, if you want to, do this and that, blah, 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 you have to provide this, that, and the third. And if you agree to it, if I'm providing that, then of course he's going to feel entitled to the sexual needs, because that's all men really want from women anyway. So I don't think it's wrong to feel entitled if it's mutual agreement. Now, if you just think just because you got a dick that she's supposed to give you what you want when you want it, no. But if there's a mutual agreement, if you're providing something, then yeah, you should get what you're supposed to get. That's where the gray area comes in.
I think that's where the toxic area comes in. Because I definitely think it's saying entitlement. So you're not entitled to my body, whether you're a man or a woman. If you're married, that's a whole nother ball game. But there's an entitlement, and that means that I owe you something, you owe me something. You're not entitled to me, and I'm not entitled to you. Even if you're giving me something, this is not an exchange. At the end of the day, I might as well be a prostitute in that case if we're going to exchange resources. And so,
but you breaking the contract, the mutual agreement.
Well,
if you're providing her, let's say, weekly, you provide, the hygiene part. You make sure her hair and nails is done.
Yeah.
Which a lot of men do, which is nothing wrong with that. And for return, you get her attention, which is sex. Or you're paying her car note or rent or utilities or phone, and then in return, you get sex. That's how it works with men and women. Unless you just, I'm just being honest.
Well, not with the women I talk to. I don't.
Okay, I'm just okay.
I don't
80% of the time, men have to provide something to get something. Let's just be honest. Yeah, that's all I'm saying.
There definitely is an exchange.
Now, me, I'm not trying to exchange nothing. I'm just trying to get what I need to get and go. I'm not trying to take care of your bills and take care of your nails.
So that's the entitlement. That's what that's saying. Feeling entitled. So you're definitely saying that you have some toxic masculinity trait.
No, not me, because I'm not gonna feel entitled because I'm not doing anything to feel entitled. Yeah. I'm not gonna pay your bills and get your hair done. I'm not gonna do that because I don't want to feel entitled. Yeah. Because you have the right to say no, and I'm not gonna put myself in that position. So I think it's bad for men to put themselves into a position where they feel entitled. That's where the toxic shit comes in, because you shouldn't put yourself in a position to feel entitled. The only way when men feel entitled means if he feels entitled, that means he didn't provide something for him to feel that way. He doesn't feel that way just because you're a woman. You know what I'm saying?
Sometimes they do.
Well, they might show you toxic.
There are some toxic masculine men out there that are definitely controlling others and acting aggressively.
Now that's the worst one.
Which brings you to that entitlement. You see what I'm saying? Just because they're a woman, they feel entitled. You're a woman, you're supposed to do A, B, C, and D.
Well,
I'm a man.
Depending on the terms and conditions. Okay? Because we got to be honest. Men, we have to hold up our bargain.
Okay.
Which is usually we got to provide something. And women, y'all don't like to uphold y'all bargain a lot of times.
Do you think that's changed a little bit though? We're in 2022.
The reason why it's changed because you got so many men that'll do stuff for women and don't want nothing in return, but hey, how you doing today? Or they'll text them. You got these simps that'll do anything for a smile. And I'm not one of them niggas,
Okay.
You got a lot of them type of men. So they're pushing away the masculine men that say, I'm not doing that unless I'm getting something. So women will deal with the man that will do stuff for them and don't want to return.
Yeah. Okay.
And that knocks out the toxic guys.
So the more husband material.
No, simp material is not husband material.
Okay, explain that.
Because a man that's a real simp, in a woman's eyes, she doesn't respect you as a man.
Understood.
She's just using. She knows when she calls you, she can use you for something, and vice versa. There's men that
toxic femininity.
Yeah, and men do the same thing. They take advantage of women and know certain women they can get stuff out of without really doing anything. Just give them a little attention. Men do it too, and that's toxic both ways. So, but like I was saying, the controlling others. Like I'm glad you brought that up. To me, that's the most toxic. You shouldn't want to control an individual. If you want to control somebody fully, there's an insecurity issue there. Yeah. Right? So if you feel the need to control somebody, you're scared they're going to be themselves. You're scared of them being their own person. You're scared of them speaking up and disagreeing with you, which people have the right to disagree with you because they have their own mind. So I think that's the worst one is controlling because, like I said last night, that controlling and aggressive, mental becomes physical. It starts mental, and then the mental abuse comes in, then physical abuse. So the toxic masculinity, the toxic traits, the two biggest ones are controlling others and bullying and being harassing and aggressive toward others. That's the biggest red flags. For
sure.
Because it's going to get worse.
Absolutely.
And there are a lot of men out here like that.
Yes.
And they need to change that shit.
Yeah, they do.
And being harmful to society and your culture.
Your culture, oh, for sure.
If you are toxic in the house, once you go out the house, everybody know you toxic. You know that one person we all kicking there having fun, and one person, oh, here he comes.
Here goes trouble.
Damn, you know what? I'm ready to go home.
Yep.
That's toxic. That one person, we all know that one person, like, when we have a get together, don't even post it. Don't let it, he know because he's going to mess up the whole party. Yeah. That person needs help.
Yeah.
So, but no, that's good. I'm glad you brought that up. I'm getting to the other examples I've been talking about. Suppressing emotions. That's a big one for men. They say it's toxic. But men, when we grew up, we were taught to hold the shit in. We were taught that.
Yeah.
Especially black men, we were taught anytime you have an issue, what would they tell you? Man up. That's all they said. Man up. That's what they told us.
Yeah.
Man up. Pretty much men don't have feelings. So men suppress their emotions because that's how they were taught. And it is toxic. Because once it comes out, it might come out in a bad way.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Aggressively.
Exactly. Aggressive, controlling, competing, physical.
Entitlement.
Exactly.
All
then
that.
it comes out.
Yeah.
Then it comes out. Then when it go out, everybody point the finger like he crazy. No, he was taught to keep his mouth shut and hold his feelings inside.
Yeah.
But see, that's why I'm glad now we have the internet. I thank God for the internet and podcasting because men are able now to say, you know what, this is on my mind. I don't care if you like it. I'm gonna speak how I feel.
Absolutely.
So I think that's a good thing.
Yeah, it is.
'Cause I see a lot more men now speaking. And I gotta say this to the people. When men vent online and speak, stop attacking their character as a man, especially when they're speaking about their experiences with women, good and bad. I notice a lot of women, when men speak about their experience with men, they always want to call a man gay. They want to call him, you know, names and saying he's bitter. And men have feelings and emotions like everybody else. Just like women, y'all vent and talk and say whatever y'all want about men. Men have the right to speak from their experience. And letting them get that out is good because then, like he said, they're not suppressing their emotions. Let them vent. Let them get it all out. Because then when he outside being aggressive and toxic, I'll be like, lock his ass up, he crazy. Because all these years he's been taught to hold it all in.
Yeah.
He's been taught to suppress his emotions. Now he's getting his emotions out, and now he's getting attacked for it.
Absolutely.
And that's wrong.
Yeah.
That's toxic on y'all part.
Yeah, the expectation, the toxic expectations.
That's good. Toxic expectations. That's good. So when somebody lashes out, that's what you mean by toxic expectations. Like they expect that to happen when it's coming out.
A toxic expectation,
Mhm.
in my opinion, I mean, so they're telling us to suppress our feelings. So I mean, the only expectation for us is to not have any emotion. The only emotion that we should have is get angry, whoop somebody down. You know what I mean? Like that's a toxic expectation that people have of us.
So another one I see talked about last night. This one is a gray area for me. Using power over women, weaker men, and marginalized groups. Depending how you use your power. Most men are with power and authority know how to use it. The bad part about this having power over women, well, it says using power over women. It's a short group of men that you actually use power over women. It's not a lot of men. Because in 2022, men don't have power over women anymore. Women have more power than men, especially when it comes to, like I was talking about, the dating, the sex. It's all what they want, how they want, when they want. So that part is a gray area for me.
Yeah. I would say that there's a lot of men that have power over women.
Okay.
That it is definitely still alive. It seems like it's not, but it's definitely alive out here. And that I think it's a repetitive, some of the examples, because I mean that goes with control. Like you're controlling them. You're taking your power. You're taking the authority that you have, and you're using it against that person. You're abusing that power that you have, whatever power you may have in that situation. And it's not even just saying just the women, it's saying weaker men and marginalized groups. So that means that you're abusing your power, with other people, period.
Okay.
I mean, so there's some suppressed emotions there because you're trying to, overpower people.
So, and that's also a sign of insecurity. If you're abusing your power to belittle people and keep them at a certain level.
Yeah, at a certain level. So it's toxic. But yeah, that's definitely a common thing that happens. We see it all the time.
Another one I was speaking with last night, I think was really good. And this goes right before I say if a person is toxic, right, this is right before it gets to mental health. Refusing to seek help when struggling mentally or physically.
Yeah.
But men are taught, do it yourself, man up, and don't ask for help. That's how men are taught.
Yeah.
That's hard to break for men. Men don't like asking for help because men are confident, we're strong, mentally and physically. To be a man is, I'm no matter what, I have to take care of this. I'm not asking for help. It can be toxic when somebody says, "Hey, you need some help with this," and you keep refusing and refusing because we all need help sometimes with things. But they're talking about the men who refuse help no matter what. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
There was a show back in the day. A lot of the '90s shows, right? A lot of the dads were toxic in that trait because dads then they didn't ask for help. Even if they needed help, they just found a way. But in today's world, that's toxic. You know, depending on the issue and how deep it is and how many times that person needs help, it can be toxic.
Yeah.
What do you think about that?
I definitely think that with this topic, it's very important for men to know that it's okay to be vulnerable.
Okay.
We're not taught to. We're definitely not taught, like you said, to express our emotions, and it does affect the mental health
Got you.
for sure. That's a very interesting. That's a very interesting one because I think a lot of men have an issue with expressing themselves,
Got you.
and which creates that toxic masculinity for sure, and in all different types of ways.
Yeah, and they're suppressing their emotions
Oh yeah.
because they don't know how to express themselves.
So that makes them become overly, aggressive. So whooping everybody
Yeah.
that makes them mad, or as they say, I got an anger problem. It's not an anger problem. You just feel like you got to show some dominance, and so. But once we learn, we can express ourselves without always using our hands or other
Yeah.
things. There's ways to talk things out. You see what I'm saying?
That's a good. That's a good way to break that down.
Yeah.
And also, last night I was talking about another sign of toxic masculinity, and I want to see what you think about this.
Okay.
They say engaging in risky behavior that might cause harm to oneself or others. And I said the best way example of that is gang banging
Gang banging.
because it's so harmful to it's risky behavior. It's engaging in risky behavior that might cause harm to you or somebody else.
Yeah.
And for men, to me, that's the most toxic thing you can do as far as engaging in risky behavior and being harmful. Because then, like the definition says, you're also harmful to society, which means other people.
Oh, I got one for you for that one.
Okay.
This is gonna probably turn the whole show around because I disagreed that that's the riskiest. The riskiest behavior is what we talked about earlier.
Okay.
Pertaining to the sex as a competition
Okay.
and feeling entitled to sex from others, aka using power over women or whatever. Whatever. Why I say that risky behaviors is our sex lives. A lot of men are very sexual, overly sexual, and a lot of them are not out here getting tested. And they're
okay.
out here spreading diseases and everything else.
Gotcha.
Women are as well, but the toxic masculinity is what we're speaking about. And you
Right.
ask about risky behaviors, and it's risky.
Fair.
There's a lot of diseases that people don't even know that they have. Simply because they don't even go get tested ever.
That's a good one. No,
Yeah.
that's a good one.
Yeah,
Very
so
good.
we have mothers that are, when they get older, they're having, issues with their health at old ages and things like that. And men, same thing. Just because they don't know, they're not aware, or they're aware and they may have signs, but they don't want to, take the risk to go get tested, so they keep being risky. You see what I'm saying?
That is a good one. Yeah.
So that's why I said I disagree with the gangbanging one being the riskiest.
The reason why I say the gang banging one
Yeah.
is because it's easy. It's so easy to get in and hard to get out. And so many boys, before they become men, are already active as a gay man. Before they even get actively with sex,
Yeah.
they're already in a gang. And they're not joining the gang to protect their neighborhood and put in different programs to help the people in the neighborhood.
Yeah.
They're doing it for show off on social media now in today's world. So show off on social media is popular.
Clout.
It's trendy, clout. I get attention from, you know, women. I get respect from people in the streets because I'm doing this,
Yeah.
and they don't understand the harm that it does to society.
To society.
People in your
The
neighborhood.
chaos is created.
Exactly. And the thing is, they don't understand it. Once you join that gang, and you say you're just, a member of the gang in the neighborhood, somebody might see you from another gang, and you just started being in the gang, and just because somebody else did something to one of them, now they're coming after you. So it's a domino effect. They say shit rolls downhill. So that's something that I think that is the most toxic masculine behavior you can do is to join a gang and be an active gang member. You know, Another toxic trait, toxic masculinity. I'm gonna speak on this more on Sunday. It's with these rappers. A lot of them talk all this killing, violence, and never did it before. And they're
Yeah.
feeding it to people like this is really what I do, and they're encouraging others to do it, and they've never done it.
Yeah.
And that's very toxic.
Yeah. The aggression.
Very.
Yeah, so it said that toxic aggression.
And it's fake aggression
Yeah.
because the shit they talking about they never did.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And it has an effect on people, and people receive that as, oh, you know what? Well, he did it. He talking about it. I'm gonna go do it. Like I made an example last night. We watched Scarface. If I see Al Pacino in real life, I would expect him to be Scarface. I expect him to be Al Pacino. But with music, it's different. When you hear something, when I see you, I expect you to be that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And I think that's very toxic. Somebody last night said Tekashi 69. He's very toxic. He never did none of that shit. What he did was he played a character, started believing the shit, started doing some of the stuff, got locked up. Now he's not a gang member anymore. Now he's trying to be tough again. He's toxic.
Yeah.
He's feeding that energy to the young people, and they're just soaking it all up. They're soaking it all up, and then you got now these kids, even in the suburbs, starting to be in gangs and become violent just because of what they see and they think it's real.
Yeah.
When we watch a movie, we know it ain't real. You watch a movie, like when you like Denzel. When I seen Denzel in Training Day, you know what? I'm looking at Denzel in a different way. He's never acting like that, but he's acting.
Yeah.
If I see him in real life, he's not going to be the guy in Training Day.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So you got to remember with these artists, they're acting.
Yeah.
They're acting. So we need to start looking at them the same way we do the actors. They're just acting. It's entertainment.
For sure.
I said this last night. If you stop giving the clown attention, he'll stop performing.
Stop performing. Yep.
So I think that's a very good example of toxic masculinity. When you're putting negative energy out there.
Negative energy.
That's one they don't have on there.
Yeah.
Negative energy. That is very. I've been learning last year about energy. I didn't realize how somebody can sit next to you.
Yeah.
And you can feel somebody's body language. And if you're around that person too long, that negative energy starts to get on you.
Yeah.
And you can start being negative.
Absolutely.
You ever been in a relationship with somebody that's lazy, and you start being lazy? That's because of their energy.
Yeah.
That's because of their energy. So, all I'm saying with this toxic masculinity, look for the signs. If somebody is expressing these signs, bring it to attention, try to get them some help. Another one, this is going to be the last one. Signs of toxic masculinity, engaging in unhealthy behavior like smoking and drinking. They say it's toxic. Now, that's a gray area because I did both. You do two things when you smoke and drink. You're doing it to celebrate or you're doing it to suppress your emotions.
Yeah.
That's just all it is.
Right. I would agree.
It can be toxic if it's in a negative way.
Balance.
You can be aggressive in a positive way. All these signs you can do in a positive, but if you do it in a negative, it's toxic pretty much. But the smoking and drinking, a lot of people, we're all grown adults. We go through things. You might have had a family member that passed away. The way you deal with it, you might have a couple drinks.
Yeah.
You know, you might have had another kid you didn't just found out about. Oh, fuck. Here we go, shit. Now I got to deal with a new kid and deal with this and that. And then you suppress your emotions, you know. But that is a good one.
Yeah.
You know, you might get really drunk and go for a drive and run to somebody else.
Yeah.
You know, so it can be toxic the way you use it.
Yes.
But they're talking about it in men. So with toxic masculinity, men do suppress their emotions a lot when they drink. I know because I used to do it. When you just get mad, first thing I want to do is go drink because I'm pissed off. And a lot of men do that because we're taught to suppress it. So what do we do instead of talking to people? We go drink.
Yeah.
We go drink.
Right.
I didn't know no better. I wouldn't talk about my feelings. So I'm gonna go drink.
Yeah.
And that's how a lot of men are. That's toxic. You know, so y'all learned something tonight. I appreciate you, Quan Gill, for coming on the show.
Appreciate you, sir.
He'll be back Sunday. I'm gonna make the event tonight. I've been telling you everything, but toxic masculinity in rap music. We're gonna talk about that. We have a few people that do music. I want to get their input on how they feel about that. Okay, because y'all remember what the message of hip hop. I love hip hop. Even though I was raised in the church, my grandfather was a minister. I love hip hop music. But I think what people go wrong is when they receive the message from somebody that's been in that life, they receive it and then try to go imitate some stuff that you have no nothing about. I believe also is how you receive the message.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I listened to Lil Durk today. I'm not about to go out here and do nothing, but I received the message. I understand. You see what I'm saying? But we're going to talk about that Sunday, toxic masculinity in the rap music. We're going to talk about that Sunday. All right? So I appreciate y'all for watching. Follow us. Facebook, YouTube, Hit Show Podcast. TikTok,
TikTok.
Hit Show Podcast. Okay? Thank y'all. Y'all have a good night.